1 p.m. for the Hudson IDA meeting, October 6th. Did everyone enjoy your weekend? Good.
Indeed.
Good. So
Very
did
much.
everyone, just before we get started, let's do a roll call vote. Excuse me. Oh, I'm all over the place. Call for attendance, please. Lisa, are you here?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So can everyone state their name, please, for the purpose of attendance in the minutes?
Rebecca Wolf.
John
Heather
Cody.
Campbell.
Sorry, Heather.
Sorry, John.
Kamal Johnson.
Richard Wallace.
Thank you. Is Mike Tucker here? Okay, he just joined us. Hello, Mike.
I thought I was off mute. I'm sorry, I'm here.
Okay, good. Looks like the board is here. Has everyone received the email of the revised pilot?
Yes.
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 Okay, well, let's start then. Mike?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think what I'd like to do is ask Mr. Kessler or Mr. Scott on his behalf to go through the correspondence and the memo they sent us, and then I can assist you with some analysis and enable you to have a conversation about it. Joe or David?
We started kind of early, right on time.
Yeah, but let me see here.
I see David Kessler in the list of people, but he's muted, so I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. This is the problem
He has to unmute himself. Joe Scott, can you please tell David Kessler to unmute himself? Maybe through text message.
Yep. 1 second. Can you hear me?
There.
Yeah, thank you.
There.
Sorry.
David, you're muted.
Okay.
I think am I unmuted?
There you go.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Oh, good.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good. Everyone else, can you mute yourself so we can eliminate the feedback, please?
So we took Heather's concerns and we addressed them as best that we could, given the financial constraints of the project. And we came up with a proposal that I think works for us and should, address the concerns of the board that the board raised last week. And it should work. We believe it works for us, it works for the city, and addresses those concerns. Joe, do you want to go through the proposal?
Sure. And I apologize. I got on here a couple of minutes late, Chair. Would you like me to talk a little bit about to do some background on the proposal, Chair?
Yes.
Yes, please.
So I think the meat of the proposal are the two schedules that are attached on pages on Schedule A and Schedule B. Schedule A is our original proposal, Chair, that at the last meeting of the IDA, several members raised questions about and asked us to go back and look at changing the structure to provide for an escalator with respect to the assessed value and an escalator with respect to the tax rates. And we did that in Schedule B, which is our revised pilot structure schedule. So what we attempted to do was to provide some certainty during the early years of the project, which are the years that are most problematic for the operations. But then beginning in year 6, actually in year 5 to 6, create an escalator. And what that does is address the issue raised at the last meeting where there was a request for us to include an escalator in the structure. And then number 2, the second request that's been raised and concern that's been raised by the IDA board in several of these meetings is the transition from the pilot structure to the real property tax structure. And so what we did was increase the last payment year due to the escalator, so that the transition from pilot to real property tax is going to be less extreme, which has been one of the issues raised by the IDA members. So our hope, Chair, is that we've adequately addressed the questions raised, which is adding an escalator and making the transition from the end of the pilot to the real property tax payment structure of the city when the property goes off the tax rolls. Again, our hope is that we did that adequately for you in Schedule B. And then the balance of the memo just describes certain operational issues with respect to the pilot. Candidly, our understanding of the pilot from day one is that the pilot goes into effect at the time of completion of the project. It doesn't make any sense to have the abatement schedule be burning off during construction. But what we wanted to do was reflecting the current economic situation in general and the issues facing the hospitality industry in particular, to make clear what that potential construction period could be. Our initial prediction and estimate was 18 months. What we wanted to do was put a back end on that, a limit on the back end, but to reflect that it may be longer than 18 months given the pandemic and the impact that the pandemic is having on businesses in general and the hospitality and hotel industry in particular. And then the second item is we have not pushed back at all with respect to the payment of the 1% admin fee of the agency. We've accepted that as a term, from day one. But what we wanted your consideration of, and that's what we have in this proposal, is a division of the payment of the admin fee over 3 benchmark periods. And the reason we've asked for that and your consideration of that is that everything that we're doing right now with respect to the project is, again, full steam ahead. We're moving forward. We're talking to our investors. We're refining our construction costs. We're getting ready to start. We're doing all the things that we need to be doing to initiate this project. And there's been no loss of enthusiasm or direction on the part of the project applicant. But what we are finding in connection with our conversations with investors, our conversation with banks, our conversation with the contractors, is that everything is taking more time. And whenever something takes more time, it creates potentially significant cash flow impacts on the project applicant. And so what we're asking for consideration is not a reduction in the amount of the admin fee, which is something that we could have asked for, but we have not. What we're asking for is just a breakdown, a division of the payment of the application fee over these important benchmarks. And frankly, we picked the benchmarks to reflect when you're granting benefits. When we close, you'll be granting us benefits. When we start construction, you'll be granting us benefits. When we complete, you'll be granting us benefits. So we thought that was an equitable way to divide up a fairly large fee, and that fee and breaking that fee up is not a reflection of our unwillingness to pay the amount. It's a reflection of the cash flow impact that it has during the early parts of this project, which frankly are the most crucial and critical parts of the project. So that's a summary of the memo, and I'm more than happy to open up for comments or questions. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Not yet.
I would love to hear Heather and Mike's.
Your name, please.
I'm sorry, Rebecca Wolf. I guess, yeah, I would love to hear Heather and Mike's analysis. Oop,
You
Mike,
have
you're,
to unmute yourself, Mike.
Heather, would you like to go first as a member of the agency, or I can give my overview and have you comment on it?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. If you look at the original proposal on Schedule A, it resulted in $631,000 over the 11 years in actual tax payments, which discounted for the time use of money at 2% had a net present value of $554,000. The revised proposal.
I'm sorry, would anybody like me to share the document on the screen? I have it available.
If you can, I had some computer issues today, so.
Let's see if I can.
I know I'll get in trouble for this, but I need to hire someone who's younger than I am. Let me put it that way.
I'm gonna do it in a second, I think.
There you go. Yeah, Rebecca's presenting.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure. I'm not even that young.
You have a new
Is
consultant
everybody?
business.
I don't see anything yet.
Don't see it yet.
Oh, you don't see it?
Yeah, it's a black screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on then. It says I'm presenting, but I'm not sure how to tell it what to present. I've never done that in Google Meets.
Well,
Hold on a minute.
the bottom line is that there's an increase of $48,000 in taxes on an annual basis with the revised proposal, and approximately $40,000. Here we go. Approximately $40,000. So if you move up to the second page and stop there for a second, whoops.
Schedule A, Rebecca, Schedule A, the first
Perfect.
one, right?
Perfect. If you look at this, you can see that if you look at the second column with the percentages, and then you look at the third column with assessment, under the original proposal, the assessment remained flat, as did the tax rate. And the resulting tax payments for the 11 years till the project got back to 100% of real property tax resulted in $631,000 in nominal dollars, which if someone wanted to write you a check today was worth $554,000 discounted at 2%. If we go to the next table, what happens here that's different is if you look at the assessment column, beginning in year 6 through 11, the assessment is escalated at 1.5%, as is the tax rate. So when the original proposal had the assessment and tax rate fixed for the entire 11 years. This model shows where it's fixed for 5 years and then it's escalated for the next 6 years at 1.5%. The result is it adds about $20,000 to the tax payment in year 10, and it enables you to get some of the appreciated value, and the present value. On a nominal basis, it's about $50,000 more in tax payments, and $39,000 or $40,000 in nominal payments or present value payments. So basically, they improve the deal by $40,000 on a present value basis and got the assessed value closer to what it might be in year 11. But obviously, none of us know what that will be. So to the extent that both of those things were done, I think they did attempt to address the questions that the board had at our last meeting. Your council asked me to take a look at, what's the impact of the fact that, the year one is the year the hotel opens, which is what we did as with you and the pilot terms that the Hudson IDA submitted to the county IDA for the WIC. The WIC pilot was approved in 2016, and the payments started 18 months later in 2016. It was signed, and in 2018, it began in January. So what I did, not knowing exactly how to do that, I added 2 years at the end, and I added 102,000 and 104,000 on a year 12 and 13, which isn't shown here. When I took the increased present value of that, it's approximately $199,000 because the interest rate is low. And when I went to the model that showed the regional benefit was for every dollar that was spent here, the developer, for every dollar of benefit, the developer was producing $7.36. When I adjust it for pushing this out 2 years, if you will, it drops it to $7, so 36 cents difference. The county's benefit was $7.54, and it drops to $6.75, and the city's benefit was $11.99, almost $12, and it drops it to $11. So the impact of this on the present value basis in making sure that the economic fiscal analysis that was done by Camoin is still, it doesn't significantly alter those assumptions or those results. It's basically, somewhere between $1, for every dollar that you give them in benefits, you're going to get 50 cents to $1 less across the board for the region, the county, the city, and the school. You'll recall that it's still double the benefit that was ascribed to the WIC, which was for every dollar of benefit, you received about $3.40 back. And that's primarily because when the WIC analysis was done, there was no bed tax. And in our model, the city is getting $1,279,000 in bed tax and $207,000 in present value sales tax on its share of the state and county split. So, we just wanted to be sure I can, do a more thorough analysis and if you would like, but when you adjusted the back end, because it's 11 years out at a 2% present value, it does make a difference in terms of, waiting longer for the higher payment, but because the original model that the economic analysis was based on had the lower payment from year 6 to 11, it's not a significant difference. But if there's any desire to see actual numbers, I can work those up later today. So I do think that you know, these are very tough economic times. I certainly appreciate Mr. Kessler continuing to pursue this project in light of COVID and in light of the uncertainties of the economy. But we all believe that the timing of this project makes a lot of sense, because by the time it's up and running in 18 months to 2 years, that people will be back to a new normal. This hotel can be built in a way that I'm sure that his architects and engineers will be looking at it to, enhance the personal safety of the property over any other property that exists. And I think that, from that perspective, I would happy to answer any questions, and looking forward to hearing the agency's thoughts on it.
Heather? Any other questions from the board? Heather, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I just want to thank you for, listening to some of the concerns that the board have and addressing those in the way that you did. I'm much more comfortable with this proposal than I was with the earlier one personally. I obviously can't speak for the rest of the members of the board. I also don't have an issue with splitting up the admin fee. I understand the cash flow issues, especially now when construction work is still limited under COVID and things like that. So, I'm, as I've said from day one, I'm in favor of this project immensely. And I feel better about what's in front of us now because of the escalations.
Thank you. We've been working for a long time with this group. It's a good outcome for particularly the treasurer to agree with this. Is there any other questions from the board?
I'm just curious if any of the other, if Mr. Wallace, who's on the board, has any perspective on this at all.
Your name, please.
My
Say
name is
your
Rebecca.
name, please.
Rebecca Wolf. I was just
Thank
curious
you.
to hear from
Yeah,
other.
this is Richard. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Well, since you asked for my perspective, I will offer it gladly. I've been very interested to hear the particulars of this project. I was very pleased by a number of things: the transparency of it, the extent to which both the developers and the members of the board have diligently gone through all of the items, especially as they relate to the economics and the economic development benefits here. So, I know a little bit about this business, but I learned a lot through this process. And again, I think the developer has done a really good job here of presenting the case, going back in detail, bringing back more information. So I certainly started out thinking this would be a good project. I still think it would be, and so that's my opinion, Heather. Since you asked,
That was Rebecca Wolf. Wallace.
Stand-
And
I stand correct, Rebecca Wolf. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
And also for me, I'll keep it short. I'd like the commitment for the positions of 14 people being hired and maintaining those 14 jobs throughout the time period of your business in Hudson for the residents here. I think that is very important, along with what the board has already mentioned. Thank you. Any other members from the board?
Sorry, it's hard to unmute. Rebecca Wolf here. Mike, did you want to?
Yes, I was waiting. I was just waiting to see if any of the other agency members had comments before I speak to the workforce training aspect of the proposal.
Great.
Hearing none, Madam Chair. Rebecca and I have had a couple of conversations about how best to memorialize the agreement by the developer and in terms of the workforce and education initiatives. As part of that, we've come, I think, to an understanding that as grateful as we all are for David's commitment to this and his willingness to commit in the documents, this project, hospitality training in Hudson, Columbia County, and even Columbia Greene County is far beyond his capability or responsibility. As a result, what we were looking at was we would like to add that David include, and that is included in the resolution, that be a designated liaison to the IDA during the course of this project through the end of the pilot, so that if there are questions during the course of the year outside of the year-end reporting period, that members of the agency or whoever you have administering the agency at that time can contact them to either discuss with them upcoming openings, discuss perceived or real violations of the workforce and training programs, because over 11 years, many of us will probably have rotated through the IDA in Hudson, and new people will not necessarily have all the institutional memory. So by having a point person that as a someone in management that you can go to, I think is a good idea. I think when I built projects that were financed by IDAs, I always brought the pilot payment check to their January meeting, just so that if I needed to come back and talk to them about something in year 6 or 7, they didn't say, "Who are you?" And they would also remember that, I would hope they'd remember that I was the guy that came every year with a check. But so I do think that one of the things that we are also working on is we convened a meeting last week of representatives of Questar 3, representatives of the Workforce Investment Board at the college, and representatives of the college itself. And Rebecca and I participated in that meeting. I had found a really interesting workforce development program that is run by Goodwill in Washington, D.C. We're in the process of reaching out to them to see if we can get an initial phone call and even a presentation on their program. Because what I liked about it was it involved reaching out to the underemployed, the vulnerable, the marginalized, and those who are at risk in the community, which I think is one of the things that the IDA and Rebecca in particular were interested in ensuring. And in order for us to help that segment of our community, it's important that there be a training program that isn't foreign to them. If it means they have to, so I think what we're looking at is, if Goodwill is running this you know, I didn't want it to be run by, I didn't want information on programs that were run by for-profit seminar types. So I think that what we wanted David to acknowledge is that he commits to working with the IDA and CEDC and others to be able to craft this in a way that this hospitality program could be useful not only to him, but to other representatives in the hospitality community throughout the city, county, and both counties. And I do think that, you know, that opportunity will only strengthen his already stated commitment. And I get, you know, when we tried to figure out how to write some of this into the document, I think that if we look, I'm not sure what page those provisions about workforce are in the resolution or the ultimate documents that you sign, but I think if we can add the issue about a designated contact and a acknowledgement maybe in the reps and warranties that you know, the developer understands the community's commitment to this and pledges to work with them. I know that you know, 18 or 24 months out from hiring people to try to put, you know, who we should contact and who we should include and who we should do this and that with, that's all going to change. But if the idea is that there's going to be ongoing communication, which often there isn't between a developer and the IDA as time goes on, but in this case, we would institutionalize that connection and connectivity. Joe or Chris,
Can't hear you.
what document is the would the recitation of the commitment for workforce be included in?
Yeah, you're muted.
No.
Ultimately, it would be in the project agreement, but we could include a recitation in the resolution so that there's a record of that going forward, that would be incorporated.
And we would agree that that's the appropriate spot for it to be inserted.
Okay. So Mike, where are you in terms of wanting to go over a resolution? What would you like to do next?
Madam Chair, I guess council is suggesting that or offering to go through the resolution and would that be appropriate at this time?
Right, I guess the question is would the board like to entertain a resolution today?
Rebecca Wolf here. I would like to entertain a resolution. Huh?
If there aren't any objections, Rebecca, you have something to say.
Oh, I just want to understand whether this resolution, so Mike, I think has language that is to be inserted into this resolution. Is that what we're saying?
Right, so if I could send you a revised draft of the resolution with some language in it to address these changes that we've been talking about, perhaps somebody could project it who has the ability to do that. Would that be all right?
I can do that.
So whoever gets it first and has that capability to put it up, and then I can walk you through it once you get it up there. I've also emailed it to all of you so that you can open it yourselves if that's easier for you.
excuse me, Ms. Shaw, is it possible to email it to me also so that I could follow during the discussion?
I did. You should be getting it.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I replied to the list of people that Michael had sent the hotel revised pilot structure to. All right, just 1 second. Karen, would you please take that one and scan it? Have you received it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and so,
I have. Thank you very much.
okay. Is one of the people who has control of the board able to put that up?
Is anybody but me gonna do it? I can do it.
Oh, you're the only one that has been doing it.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate
That'd be
it.
great. And I'll walk you through it then, all right?
Make sure I get the right one.
This will have a black line in it, some black lines in it with a revised schedule.
Can you see that now?
Yep. So if you can start at page 1 and then we'll just page through it. So this is the resolution that we discussed previously. This is a resolution of approval for the financial assistance. So I think we went through the original version earlier. So if you could go to the page with the revised pilot schedule in it, we'll start with that. Right there, thank you. So this says that following the public hearing, the company submitted a revised proposal for pilot payments where the period would commence following the completion of construction. And you can see that we have an addition of a initial period, just to be clear, that shows the period prior to construction completion at the amount of 41,564. And that, to be clear, that's per year, right? That's an annual payment, not a single payment. So then the revised structure of payments for the remaining, the balance. And if I could ask Joe to just put your eyes on those and make sure that's consistent with the schedule that was presented, it's intended to be. So then we have added notes that indicate that the ID administrative fee, this is the request, be paid in 3 equal installments at the time of closing, commencement of construction, and completion of construction. And that the company's committed to work with the city, the agency, and the county with respect to workforce training initiatives pertaining to the hospitality industry. Hope that captured the concept, and we would certainly work
Where
on
is that?
go into the agreement. That is right below, you know what? Let me resend this. I'm sorry, Rebecca. I just added that. I'll send you, I'll resend it. But let's go through the rest of it.
Oh, sorry, I stopped presenting.
No, that's all right. All right. So let me resend this to you because I added some more language. I guess maybe after I attached it for you. Because we were drafting on the fly here. Let me make sure the other thing is saved in here. For whatever reason, it did not show up. Let me check one other thing. That's there, and that's there. Okay. So I apologize that language. So there's an additional paragraph that we've inserted under that paragraph about the 143,000 to say that the company has committed to work with the city, the agency, and the county CEDC with respect to workforce training initiatives pertaining to the hospitality industry. So that is stated as a whereas, and that'll be a representation in the actual agreement. And when you get the next one up, Rebecca, I'll wait for you to do that so everybody can have that. Oh gosh, somebody came out undeliverable. Okay.
I'm almost there. Hold on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
this is Heather. While we're pausing, can we just make sure that in the pilot schedule that, as you stated, that the 41K during the construction period of time is annually? And can we also clarify that the construction period is up to 3 years?
So I did put in the words per year in the one that I just sent her.
Okay,
Elsewhere, later in the agreement, we do specify a period of up to 3 years. So I'll get
Okay.
to that. Okay.
I think this is, I'm sorry, I think this is still the earlier one. For some reason, the browser is not allowing me to select the new one, but just a moment. Give me a minute.
no, Chris, I think you sent the unmarked one up again because I opened the newest one and it doesn't have the per year and it does not have, oh, maybe it does have the second paragraph though. No,
That is really strange. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with that. Here, let me try doing something else. I'm just going to put it in
So you wanted it added per year instead of up to 3 years?
No, that per year is just going to go inside the box to make it clear that that 41,000 in the first section there is a per year, not a single payment. So I'm just going to change this to. This is showing me the changes, so let me try this one more time. Rebecca, 1 second. All right. Technical difficulties. I think a markup in person is going to be better. All right, let's try that. Just so you can.
Okay, I'm gonna do this thing. Now it's telling me I don't have permission to share the screen. It says I must grant permissions in order to screen share.
Mike, who's got control of the board?
I don't know. I think right now it says present now. It appears that anyone could present.
I had that, and then I unfortunately clicked something that was like, do you want to allow screen sharing? And I think I clicked the wrong thing. I've never used this software before. So is the admin person from the IDA office available to?
Well, it's actually through the county because we don't have. Hold on here.
do you want me to give it a try? This is Heather.
Yes, please.
I'm trying at the same time too.
You just click present now, and then it asks you like, and then full screen, and then it gives you a list of options of what's up on your screen.
You hit window first? Or you hit your entire screen?
I did entire screen. And then it gives you a menu of different things that are up on your, like obviously the document has to be open on your screen. And then you you are given a menu and you select, oh here,
There
Heather's,
we go. I think we got Heather. Ta-da.
uh,
Hey, all right, Heather. Can you back that up just a little bit so we have that page back? Can we look at that pilot page again? There you go. Okay, so we put in the per year in the box. Do you see that?
Yep.
41,564 per year. Okay, so scroll down if you could.
You want the bottom of that page, though, not the next page?
Yep, correct. The bottom of the page so that everybody can see that language that we added.
Yeah, it's just very slow. I find that this Meet software just eats a lot of time. Okay, there you go.
Mhm.
I don't see it. Or
There we go. All right, so there's the two new paragraphs below the chart. All right,
can you, Heather, can you increase the percentage of the page, like just like make it a bigger page? Because it's,
I'm working on it. There's just a significant lag time.
yeah. So I'll just read it out loud what I can see. Whereas the company, no, whereas the something has requested that the IDA's upfront, oh no, that's the, okay. So
here. Do you want me to
Why
read
don't
it?
you let Chris read it? You can barely see it, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
the second paragraph says, whereas the company is committed to work with the city, agency, and county CEDC with respect to workforce training initiatives pertaining to the hospitality industry. Okay. And Heather, next, I'm going to ask you to go a couple of pages up to where it says now therefore, that page, section 1. Can you find that?
When you say up, do you mean down?
Okay. Go to section 1, please, of the document. Which will be later in the document.
Well, I've got it up on my screen, but it's, like I said, there's just a huge amount of lag time here.
Boy, that's for sure. Wow. There we go. All right. So in section 1, this is where we make findings and determinations. And so the changes that we've made are in section B, in addition to the commitment to 14 of the 30 jobs being filled by City of Hudson residents. Based on this morning, we've added the company will provide a designated workforce training liaison during the term of the pilot. And then the Cameline study said what it said, and as Michael said, we'll get to the impact, but the section D we've modified so that the pilot begins with the payments, with pilot payments totaling $680,000 rather than the original proposal, beginning upon completion of construction not longer than 3 years. So that's where the 3-year period comes in. The pilot agreement would provide for a fixed annual payment in lieu of tax in the amount of $41,564 during the construction period. So that's to reflect what is being proposed and approved in this resolution. And then the other change in here is section H. According to the cost benefit analysis, the project expected to provide, based on Michael's revised analysis, we've changed that to 7-to-1 as a benefit offset. And then in section I deleted the reference to 11-year pilot term, just to be clear, because there is the construction period during which the pilot would provide for a fixed payment, and then the pilot schedule that was proposed starts into effect, the post-construction period. So
it looks like David has something he would like to say. David, you have to unmute yourself.
I just have a question, Chris. Thank you. The 3 year, up to 3 year construction period, when does that begin? Begin when I close on the acquisition of the property and enter into the agreement with the IDA, or does it begin? Should we specify when it begins?
So it will begin, I mean, it will be specified in the documents that we execute, but it will begin when we execute the documents. So in other words, the pilot agreement will be what controls that period. The pilot will identify that based on the commencement of the pilot term.
I think so. I'm just trying to think logistically.
Well,
Like I said,
what would happen is, depending on what time of year you bought it, it would presumably be prorated, because the purchaser or the seller of the house would give you a credit at the closing, and then we would generally, in the pilot, we schedule the school tax payment in September and the town and county tax in January.
Okay. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Mike, I was just going to say, Mike, I think you make a good point that, David, you should be aware that there will possibly be prorated taxes on this parcel.
That was Heather Campbell. For Lisa, please remember to state your name for the purpose of the minutes.
Yeah, sorry.
Your
So
question was to who, Heather? Heather,
Yes, Chairman.
your question was to who?
Oh, it wasn't a question. I was just reiterating from Mike that there's a chance that there may be prorated taxes. I don't necessarily think there will be, because I believe it was put back on the tax rolls by the the current owner. And I don't think that they have any significant exemptions that we wouldn't qualify for, but just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Mike? You're still on mute, Mike.
Did you have further sections you wanted to walk through, Chris?
no, that was it. I think we walked through the rest of it last time. Then section 2 contains the determinations about the consistency of the project with the
Bring it.
statutory requirements, and then the approval of the financial assistance.
We have another question from Rebecca Wolf.
Yeah, I just would like to go back to the addition of the workforce paragraph. I don't know if we have addressed that. I mean, I don't think we've addressed that yet. So, I wonder if there could be some more specific language than work with, something along the lines of, whereas the company has committed to give preferential hiring.
Well, what if we use the language in David's letter? Right. And he sent a memo. Why don't we just incorporate that memo into the, there was a memo about 2 weeks ago that outlined the steps that he would undertake. Posted on, I'll get it, it's posted on the website.
If you're talking about the whole job fair part of it,
Yeah.
this is more specific. This is preferential training to hiring from IDA, CEDC workforce training initiatives.
Well, he indicated that he's going to hire 14 people. This would be one of the sources. He's not going to get all 14 people from, we can't lock him into that. He's going to consider them, but if there's only 3 people in the program, he can't wait to hire the next person.
Well, sure. So that's why preferential, I think preferential hiring would cover that problem, because it just indicates that that's the first source.
Chris, can you please intervene, because it sounds like a tug of war situation. I know that the board is in agreement with the 14 positions being hired from Hudson. And I know also the board is also in agreement with the workforce program. And I understand completely that the example that Mike Tucker just gave about if it's only 3 people in a program, those 3 people would be hired out of the program, but the main goal is the total of the 14 and remaining throughout their years of business in Hudson, remaining 14 and hopefully even the number going up. That is to my understanding. Is that clear? Can you intervene with that, please?
Let me, if I could, just give me 1 second. What I want to do is put this in the context of the type of agreement, how this actually gets implemented in the agreements that we generally draft. And we do have, I just want to refer to the language in our uniform project agreement, which generally has something like this, and we can modify it for this project based on these representations. Let's see, we have employment consideration. So we normally have in our model project document an obligation to list new employment opportunities created as a result of the project with the Department of Labor and the job administrative agency for this area. And except as otherwise provided by collective bargaining agreements, the company agrees where practicable to first consider for new employment opportunities persons eligible to participate in federal job training partnership programs referred by those entities, to use its best reasonable efforts to hire city-based contractors and to maintain the following employment levels, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is a generic provision, so we would need to modify this, but we normally have something that says the company agrees where practicable to consider for such new employment opportunities. And then you could indicate, are you looking for people who have completed the cooperative training program?
The problem is we don't know if we're going to be able, what that training program is. What Rebecca and I discussed yesterday was the City of Hudson IDA, and I just sent this to Heather, Rebecca, Chris, and Joe and David so we can get it on the screen. the City of Hudson IDA, in partnership with Columbia Economic Development, is working to assist in the creation of a community-based workforce training initiative designed to reach the vulnerable and underemployed residents of Hudson, as well as those who are at risk of displacement. And so, and that, you know, that there'd be a commitment to, on the part of the project, to work with us and to advance that effort. And, you know, I think that, you know, to getting into much, you know, details beyond the bullets that I also included that they've previously committed to, you know, I don't see, you can't for 11 years figure out how to define something that, what if this training program goes for 3 or 4 years and collapses?
Right. I'm just
Okay.
looking for something a little more specific than work with, because I mean that doesn't really express any actual like commitment
But the
to
commitment is
hiring.
the commitment is in the other bullets that he has. Job hiring will begin no later than 3 months. He'll meet with county. He's committed to 14 people. I added management level staff person will be designated as a liaison to the IDA.
Mhm.
You know, so I think that at least 14 equivalents will be hired. I mean, I just don't know. It's hard to be definitive about a program that we haven't yet been able to develop.
No, for sure. I'm again not actually. I mean, Chris, do you have any thoughts on what like a verb that we could use there that is more specific than work with? Because that is just a very vague.
David, would you agree to partner
This is
with?
John. Would partner with be better?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Partnered with sounds better for sure. I mean, partner with implies
Partner with IDA, partner with the City of Hudson, partner with
the workforce training program or with the IDA and CCC that is developing a training program.
Can I ask?
So,
I mean,
does that mean that the applicants will have to will go forward with putting their applications with the hotel, or do they have to put their applications through the IDA to ensure that these 14 applicants will be hired in the City of Hudson?
Madam Chair, I think the partnership is
Yes.
in connection with creating a job training program. The commitment to hire people will be directly with the hotel.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Of course.
Could I ask the applicant, have they reviewed what Michael had presented, and is that acceptable to them as language? Of course, substantially, that language, not necessarily every word.
That's
I
their,
just-
that's
I
out of
just
your
received
letter.
it now. I'm sorry, Mike, what'd you say?
That's, I copied that right out of your letter to the IDA. Joe. The only thing I added was the reference to a management liaison.
And Joe, can you confirm?
Yes.
It
Yeah,
should be fine.
give me a second to read it. Sorry. We're really in we're in the weeds here during a meeting, which we understand, but 1 second.
I'm not familiar. Who's Quest?
Questar 3 is the technical career high school education program.
You know, we can do one of two things. We could try to incorporate this as a proposed amendment to the project documents, or we could more simply indicate that the company commits to participate in workforce training initiative pertaining to the hospitality industry, created, if, you know, I guess this is not an existing initiative. So that's where I think it's got to be a little bit flexible, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, sorry, it took me a minute to find, because we've done a number of supplementals here, and yes, I agree that Mr. Tucker took all this language from material that we sent. So this does not appear to be problematic. I think in terms of a verb, what I see is coordinate or cooperate, not coordinate, cooperate. Because, you know, what we're trying to do is talk about a potentially 11, maybe a 14-year arrangement here. And it's very hard to, as Ms. Shaw indicates, and as Mr. Tucker indicates, it's hard to set that into stone here because times change, things change. But at a 50,000 foot level, what was presented to you does mirror what we've sent to you previously.
So what if we had a sentence that says, can everybody hear me? Whereas the company commits to cooperate with the city agency and county CEDC with respect to workforce training initiatives pertaining to the hospitality industry, substantially as proposed in the insert to uniform agency project agreement on file with the secretary.
And yeah, okay.
Board, would that meet your needs?
Let's hear from the other board members. Is that okay? Does everyone agree? John Cody, Mr. Wallace, Jamal Johnson, Heather?
Yeah, I agree.
No objection. No objection.
Good.
Richard Wallace.
Does everyone feel comfortable moving forward with the vote today?
Yes, for me, I feel comfortable.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's vote.
With the revised changes to the pilot in partnership with IDA and what's the name of the hotel? What's the name of the hotel?
This is you mean the insert to uniform agency project agreement or?
The name of the hotel, is that what you're asking?
The hotel. Okay.
I think it's called Hudson Hotel, something like that. The Hudson Hotel.
The working title right now is Hudson House, but that's subject to change. I'm not entirely sure yet.
And Madam Chair, point of information.
Yes, please.
Ms. Shaw, I just want to make sure with all the back and forth that we're doing here that we don't, I believe we need to do the seeker resolution first, right? I don't believe we did that at the last meeting.
No, we did not.
I just want to make sure that we have the process. And I know you're on top of that, but you're drafting on the fly.
I am drafting on the fly.
And I just didn't want anything to be missed procedurally here.
That is a very, very good point.
So thank you for your courtesies here.
We did circulate that previously. Would the board like that one put up as well? Heather, do you have you were the last one to have your screen share. Do you have that to put up or do you need a copy of that? the seeker resolution. Heather?
Again, Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, please.
Again, respectfully, there's been no change in the overall project, and that resolution was presented at the last meeting, and there's been no change to it. So perhaps, in the avoidance of additional IT challenges, we might be able to simply take a motion and a second, and then approve that, and then move on to the IDA approval resolution. Again,
Yeah, sure. Joe, I'm just trying to make sure the board has this in front of it, and I believe that I can refer them to the website where this was posted with the meeting packet. So if anybody in front of them, it's posted on the website. Okay. We circulate.
Chris, if you have it right in front of you, you can send it to me.
Pardon me?
If you have it right in front of you, you can send it to me. This is Heather, and I can screen it up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's on the website. So let me just make sure this is this version. Yep. Yep. Okay. So you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, it'd just be easier than me having to navigate through the website, if you don't mind.
No problem. Okay, there you go. But we did look at it in detail last time, so I think just so you have it in front of you when you're voting.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay.
You want the short EAS form first, right?
We already looked at that, so I just sent you that in case anybody wanted to look at it. But the resolution is really what we need.
Okay.
Are you still trying to work on getting it up on the screen? Did we lose Heather?
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to pull it up.
Okay.
I don't think that's the right one. Oh. Bear with me, folks. There we go. There you are.
Okay. So resolution approving the issuance of a negative declaration with respect to the proposed Hudson House project. Madam Chair, would you like to accept a motion? You're on mute.
Been muted. But I'll issue a motion.
Thank you. I couldn't even get to it. Wow. Thank you. Kamal Johnson will issue that motion, please. And have a second.
I'll second. John Cody.
John Cody will have a second to that motion. All in favor, please.
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? I think that is all the board members that voted. Anyone opposed? Moving forward. Thank you. The screen is blank. There you go. Next resolution is approving the insurance of a negative declaration.
That's the resolution we just voted on. So Heather, do you want to put the other one back up, or everybody just saw that?
No, I'll put the other one back up. Just give me a second.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. So this is the resolution of the IDA making certain findings required under the Act with respect to the project located at 620 Union Street in Hudson, and authorizing execution of certain agreements and authorizing provision of financial assistance, including sales tax exemption from mortgage recording taxes and partial real property abatement through a pilot agreement.
Chris, this is Rebecca Wolf. Can you just change work with to cooperate with?
So, right, so I did take that note so that the language that we read is, which you don't see in Heather's version, but which will be in your approved version, is whereas the company commits to cooperate with the city agency and county CEDC with respect to workforce training initiatives pertaining to the hospitality substantially as proposed in the insert to uniform agency project agreement on file with the secretary. That's what we read before. Mm-hmm.
Great, thanks.
Yep. And Madam Chair, if there are no further questions, are you ready to request a motion?
I am. I was just waiting to see if Ms. Wolf had anything else she wanted to add. But yes, let's move forward, please. May I have a motion for this next resolution, please?
So moved. John Cody.
May I have a second?
Second, Heather Campbell.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mayor Johnson?
Aye. Sorry, couldn't unmute. Aye.
Any opposed? Moving forward, thank you. And we have one more, right, Chris?
No, I think that's it. We had two resolutions for you. This resolution was for findings and approval, and the first resolution was for seeker. And then we would be in a position to move forward then to prepare final documents for closing.
And we
That's
don't have to approve the EAF? Just
Yeah.
the resolution?
what was contained in the resolution, approved that Part 3 negative declaration.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We reviewed it last meeting. We reviewed the text last meeting, but this resolution approved that finding in the neg deck. So Michael, do you have anything further?
Chair, if I may,
Yes,
Mike,
Joe
Mr.
Scott
Tucker,
is speaking. Please state your name for the purpose of the minutes. I don't think Lisa can see us.
sorry, this is Joe Scott. Mr. Tucker understood that Ms. Shaw and you were busy with the resolutions. He just sent me an email saying that he has to run to a meeting. So he has left the building.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Joe. If there isn't anything else from the board, any other comments or questions, if you think of it afterwards, please send an email. May I have a motion to adjourn at 2:22 p.m.?
I'll make that motion. Rebecca
Second.
Wolf.
Kamal
Thank you.
Johnson, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just,
Anyone opposed?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
want to
And
thank you all. I look forward to working with you all, and
we look forward to those 14 jobs.
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Go.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.